welcome to the sunset ceremony, Field of Crosses, for Tuesday, November 6th. And just a few introductions as we get going, and we'll talk about the ceremony, and then we'll make it happen. First, we'd like to welcome our piper, Alan Duguid. And Alan, thanks for coming out. We know how much the pipes love the warm weather, so thank you. Our bugler is Petty Officer Lang from HMCS Tecumseh, and we're happy to have the 166 NLCC John Hamilton Cadets who are going to lower our flags tonight. Thanks, guys, for coming out. Wow, good for you. Members of the Calgary Fire Department, Calgary Police Service, EMS, Sheriff's Department, thank you for coming out. 3rd Canadian Army veterans in their black vests, we want to thank them for all that they do in helping us organize the kids for the flag ceremony tonight. We're standing here in the Field of Crosses, and you'll notice there are 3,400 crosses representing those Albertans who didn't get to make the trip home. They left from Calgary on the train and are buried in a foreign field somewhere. They're in Belgium or France. They're in Italy and Sicily. They're in Korea. They're in Hong Kong. Many were lost at sea and they have no grave. You'll notice today at the flagpole on your left is the United States flag. Annually, we recognize our American compatriots who we have fought with side by side. As you go through the crosses, you'll notice there are 39 crosses here that have an American flag on them because they either came across the border to join the Canadian forces or were living in Canada at the time when the war started, whatever war they fought in. In the First World War, about 35,000 Americans fought in the Canadian Army, including my grandfather and my great uncle, who was badly wounded. They were born in Appleton, Wisconsin, moved to Canada at the turn of the 20th century, and homesteaded here and lived the rest of their lives here. Luckily, they both came home from the war. One of them who didn't come home was a fellow by the name of Shirley, and that was his first name, Shirley Fulton. Shirley was born in Middleton, Michigan in 1898, and at some point moved to Calgary, where he found work in a poultry factory. He enlisted in 1916, and after suffering 2 serious bouts of pneumonia, finally arrived in France in time for the Battle of Vimy Ridge, joining Calgary's 50th Battalion. Of course, April 9th, 1917, the Battle of Vimy Ridge, but the 50th didn't fight that day. They were in reserve. The next day, the 50th was sent into action to capture the last German remaining stronghold, which was on Hill 145, which is where the Vimy Monument is. On that day, the 50th attacked at 3:15 in the afternoon, and they were cut to shreds by German machine gun fire. Hundreds fell, literally hundreds fell in about 30 minutes. And but for the bravery of John Pattison, who also has a cross over there, Pattison leapt from his ditch, ran to the German machine gun, threw in some hand grenades, knocked it out, and the attack was successful. And by the end of the fight, Vimy Ridge was all Canadian. But the cost was heavy. The 50th Battalion lost over 250 men. Of those, 85 were killed. One of them was Shirley Fulton. We don't know what happened to Shirley Fulton. He has no known grave. His name is inscribed on the Vimy Monument along with 11,265 other Canadians who also have no known grave and are buried in France. So ladies and gentlemen, when we do our moment of silence, please think about the 3,400 Albertans that are here, the 118,000 Canadians in total who've given the ultimate sacrifice for our country, and Shirley Fulton, who is an American citizen fighting in the Canadian forces. Bugler, sunset. We'll now have last post, followed by a moment's silence. The piper will play the lament, and we'll end our ceremony with rouse. During the last post, the cadets will lower the flags. Bugler. Thank you very much. That concludes our apologies to the bugler. My brain apparently froze out. Like the bugle sound. This concludes our ceremonies for tonight. Thank you very much for coming out. Wonderful job by our cadets. Thank you for everyone for taking time out of your busy days and braving the cold. A couple of quick announcements. Sunset ceremonies occur every day, including November 11th. And then on the 11th, we will have our traditional Remembrance Day ceremony at 11 a.m. This year made more special, I guess, by the fact it's the 10th anniversary of the Field of Crosses, which started 10 years ago with 300 crosses at that end of the field and now stretches across 5 acres and 3,400 crosses. And also the 100th anniversary, the end of the First World War, and at exactly 11 o'clock on that day, 100 years ago to the minute the war ended, 3 Canadian Armed Forces artillery guns will begin firing a 21-gun salute at the far end of the park, followed by a fly past by the Royal Canadian Air Force helicopter at about 11:06. So it's going to be a pretty monumental day. As well, the ceremony, if you can't make it down, will be broadcast live on Global TV. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out. And I think our color party deserve a round of applause for their great work. Well done. Thank you.